my favorite color. What's yours?
What's yours?
Red is my favorite color. What's yours?
What's yours?
Well, yeller's sweller for this little feller.
And me, I'm keen on green. So what's your favorite color? Tell us, please.
Kids will spend 20 minutes listening to songs like this.
What's your favorite color? Tell us, please. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite?
How about 2 minutes to brush their teeth? Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives and the Ad Council.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
This is the Composer's Datebook for October 29th. I'm John Zeck. On today's date in the year 1787, Mozart's opera Don Giovanni had its premiere performance in Prague with the composer himself conducting. Mozart had arrived in Prague early in October that year, but he was forced to push the premiere date back towards the end of the month, as singers and instrumentalists alike needed more time than originally planned to prepare his difficult new score. Even today, Mozart's Don Giovanni is a demanding work to pull off successfully on stage. The October 29th premiere was a triumph, and a Prague newspaper reported that Mozart was received with threefold cheers when he entered and left the theater. At the request of Joseph II, the Austrian emperor, Don Giovanni was staged in Vienna the following year. The emperor was pleased. That opera is divine, he told Mozart's librettist, Lorenzo da Ponte, but surprisingly the Viennese audiences didn't seem to like it. Da Ponte quotes the emperor as suggesting Don Giovanni was just too complicated for their taste. Such music is not meat for the teeth of my Viennese, he said. In his memoirs, Da Ponte writes, I reported this remark to Mozart, who replied quietly, well, give them time to chew on it then. He was not mistaken, continued Da Ponte. At each performance of Don Giovanni, the applause increased, and little by little, even Vienna of the dull teeth came to savor it. For musical tastes of all kinds, go to our website, composersdatebook.org. Composer's Datebook is a production of APM, American Public Media, and the American Composers Forum, reminding you that all music was once new.
This is Across Our Wide Missouri with Bob Priddy.
His grandfather was a white man who owned the plantation on which he was born. His grandmother was one of the slaves. His mother was half Cherokee Indian. He was the 11th of 15 children. His father was a butcher who went to St. Louis to earn money to bring the family north. When he did, they all moved into a 3-room house. One day, the young man read about a boxer named Kid Chocolate who earned $75,000 for a half hour of work, and he decided that was the life for him. He became the first man to hold 3 boxing championships simultaneously, and we'll tell his story in a minute. He was...
Go, Caleb! Come on, hit a homer, Jesse!
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow, jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's true. I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
Oh, hey, guys. Did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Story in a minute. He was born Henry Jackson, but during his boxing career he'd be known as Henry Armstrong. Homicide Hank, or Hurricane Hank, they called him. He worked with the railroad when he was young because he heard that's how Jack Dempsey got into training and got into shape. In his first fight as Henry Armstrong at the old St. Louis Coliseum, he knocked out a black fighter in the second round. Officials wouldn't let him fight white boxers, so he became the black featherweight champion of St. Louis. As an amateur, he won 58 of 62 fights. His first professional fight came in July of 1931, a knockout victory in 3 rounds over Al Iovino in North Braddock, Pennsylvania. He boxed under the name of Melody Jackson, didn't have any money. The week before the fight, he ate only bread and water and was so weak he weighed only 121 pounds and went down when he was hit in the stomach. But he got $30, he ate well, and a week later he demolished another fighter, Sammy Burns. The next year, 1933, he started a series of fights with Baby Arizmendi. He lost a decision. Then in 34, he lost in Mexico to Arizmendi again, this time on a decision, and again in 1935. In the first Arizmendi fight, he was offered $1,500 to carry his opponent, but bandits robbed the gatekeeper and he got nothing. Armstrong was supposed to throw the second fight, but he went the distance and hammered Arizmendi all over the ring. Singer Al Jolson saw him in the third fight and offered to buy his contract. Not long after that, Jolson, former fighter turned actor George Raft, and manager Eddie Meade figured Henry should try to hold 3 titles at once. Joe Louis had just become the first black since Jack Johnson to win the heavyweight title and was getting all the attention. 3 titles held by one man, though, would offset that. In the fall of 1937, Armstrong met featherweight champion Peter Sarin in New York and knocked him out in 6 rounds. In 1938, he decisioned Arizmendi, but the decision ended a string of 27 straight knockouts. In May of 38, Armstrong moved up to the welterweight division, had trouble gaining the 21 pounds he needed, had to gain 5 or 6 pounds the day of the fight, so he tanked up on water, barely made it. Rain stopped the fight for 10 days, and when it was finally held, champion Barney Ross was up to about 160. Armstrong was back down to 133. Ross went in a 3-1 favorite. Armstrong carried him for 4 rounds and beat him so badly that Ross retired 3 months later. 3 months after winning the welterweight title, Armstrong met Lou Ambers for the lightweight title. Ambers opened up a cut on Armstrong's lip, and the referee told him if he spit any more blood on the floor, the fight would be stopped. So Armstrong fought the last 3 rounds without a mouthpiece, swallowing his blood, and at the end of the fight he had his 3rd title. Armstrong had to give up the featherweight crown in December of 1938 because he couldn't make the weight anymore. Ambers regained the lightweight title in August of 1939. In 1940, Armstrong tried for the middleweight title and fought to a draw with Seferino Garcia. That October, Fritzy Zivic beat him in the 15-rounder for the welterweight crown. The last of the 3 titles was gone, but not the character of Henry Armstrong, who retired in 1945 with 144 wins, 97 by knockout, and only 22 losses. He fought 8 draws and had 2 no decisions. He was knocked out only twice. He went overseas in 1945 to entertain soldiers. When he got to Egypt, he decided to become a minister. He and his wife moved to St. Louis, where he directed a boys' club and became a minister of a Baptist church. He died in 1988. Henry Armstrong, the first man to hold 3 boxing championships simultaneously, won the first of those championships, the featherweight crown, on this date, October 29th, in 1933.
Welcome back to Studio 27 on this Tuesday afternoon. And it is First Cup for October 27th, 2013. And coming up in a little bit, there was a little bit of a hiccup, but I think I've got the problem solved. I'll have the Writer's Notebook with Garrison Keeler. Is that the name of the program? Anyway, I have Garrison Keeler with the Writer's Notebook here in just a little bit as we stroll on through the program. And I tell you, iTunes, as great as it is, does not like my computer. It is very slow to respond and causes a lot of hiccups back here, and I'm holding my fingers tight that this thing will not lock up on me. But it looks like we're in good shape, so while we wait for Garrison to upload it to the server, we'll go ahead and take care of things like Today in History and celebrity birthdays.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell's the matter with you? Other people have birthdays. Why are we treating yours like a funeral? Bones, I don't want to be lectured.
And if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday. And you share your birthday with these famous people. And it just occurred to me I forgot to turn my Nook back on, so it'll be a few seconds. Richard Dreyfuss. Remember him from The Goodbye Girl and Mr. Holland's Opus, as well as American Graffiti and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Well, he is 66 today. Dan Castellaneta. Many of the voices on The Simpsons, including Homer, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, well, is 56 today. Winona Ryder of Black Swan, as well as Heathers, and my favorite movie, Star Trek, from 2009, is 42 today. And those are celebrity birthdays for this 29th day of October. Now let's get ready to go back in time for Today in History and have room for one passenger in the time machine. I know it's a DeLorean, but just humor me, okay? So I have room for one passenger, and I've chosen you. Yeah, you. Go ahead, get in. Let me turn on the time circuits and shut the music off over here. And away we go. And on this date, October 29th, 1945, the first ballpoint pens went on sale in the United States, 57 years after it was patented, at Gimbel's department store in New York for, get this, $12.50. You know, at first there was some concern over whether checks signed with a ballpoint pen would be legal. Of course, now that depends on who signed it. For more of Today in History, here's the Associated Press.
October 29th, 1929. On Wall Street, Black Tuesday descends upon the New York Stock Exchange. Stock prices collapse amid panic selling, wiping out thousands of investors as America's Great Depression begins. 2004. In a videotaped statement, Osama bin Laden directly admits for the first time that he ordered the September 11th attacks. The al-Qaeda leader warns the best way to avoid another Manhattan is to stop threatening the security of Muslims. 1956. During the Suez Canal crisis, Israel invades Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Just days later, British and French forces occupy the canal, which Egypt had nationalized. Then both Cold War superpowers, the United States and Soviet Union, demand a ceasefire. The crisis ends with UN peacekeepers deployed in the canal zone. 1901. In upstate New York, Leon Czolgosz dies in the electric chair for assassinating President William McKinley in Buffalo.
3, 2,
and 1998.
1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Discovery with a crew of 6 astronaut heroes and 1 American legend.
Ohio U.S. Senator John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth, roars back into space aboard Shuttle Discovery at the age of 77. Today in History, October 29th, Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
And the stories that man could probably tell. All right. And it's time for the Writer's Almanac. See, I knew my memory would come back in the name of the program. I'll have that for you in a few seconds. And then we'll switch things over to the CBS World News Roundup, followed by News of the Weird, popular tweets of the day, the song of the day, and what's on TV tonight. All coming up right here on your podcast player of choice. I'm Joe Hafner, the Babbling Fool, and this is First Cup. This is first